Lagos State is one of the most economically viable and buoyant states of the Federation. This is born out of its unique position and status as Nigeria's industrial and commercial nerve center. Well over 2,000 small, medium and large-scale industries are sited in the state. In addition, the state alone hosts more than half of the Federation's industrial investments. As the nation's main economic gateway, millions of visitors make their first contact through Lagos. Commerce continues to be the backbone of the state's economy, with over 70% of commercial activities in Nigeria domiciled in Lagos. Conscious of the importance of commerce and industry to the economy of the state, the present government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made available many industrial estates with vital infrastructural facilities. No doubt, many multinational companies are attracted to Lagos State due to the high concentration and location of industrial estates. Tonight, State on Focus showcases the activities of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, saddled with the responsibility of promoting the growth and development of commerce and industry in the state.
This is the corporate ministry, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and in the city of Lagos, the state of excellence. What we have been doing here primarily is to make sure that we put into focus the policy thrust of the state government as regards commerce and industry in the entire state, and this is all encompassing. Particularly, we dealing with the Lagos State Free Trade Zone Authority, the relocation of auto traders from the present location in Baga, Apapa, to Mowo in Badagry. We are dealing with the car crushing plant at Shela in Ekwe, which has been an abandoned project for over 3 or 4 administrations. But the Lagos State government, through the able leadership of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has put in motion the processing of revitalizing and revamping the site. We are also remodeling the Lagos State Investment Development Finance Company, which is situated in Yaba. It's an organization that deals with giving microcredit to small and medium-scale enterprises, and this has been moribund for a while. We are about to revamp it so that it can then take care of the statutory functions. We are also looking at all the industrial estates within our purview, which in its entirety we have 3 functional industrial estates. That is the one in Isolo, Matori and Sabo. This estate for some time now is built by government for the industrialists in and around Lagos, and we are looking at the possibility of putting together a new sort of management style so that it will be very, very responsive to the needs of today. I've personally visited all these estates myself, and I've spoken to the inhabitants of the estate, the so-called tenants of government. Most of them are in a sorry state, but the government is doing its best to revamp it. Also, we are doing something which for a long time has not been done, that is to go into the old estates. There are some estates that are actually built by individuals. We just create a portion of land and declare it industrial location, and these are allocated to people for industrial purposes. For some time now, most of the people that were given those plots to develop for industrial purposes, because of lack of infrastructure and other supporting facilities, they don't move to site. And we are looking at all of this with a view to actually redetermining their status, which could include revocation of their position, and this will now be reallocated to people who are really into industrialization of the state. This involves matching the the allocation with what is physically present on ground, and that has taken us quite a substantial time. But now we've been able to conclude that we've realized that about 10% of the allottees in, for instance, Odogiyan Industrial Estate in Ikorodu actually occupy the plot for the purpose of putting industries there. And those that have not, we will look into that, and we are setting up a committee to review all of that and probably come with a policy statement as to how to move it forward. There is a proposal on ground for Industrial Land Holding Authority. If this gets the blessing of His Excellency, what it means in effect is that, like we have the Agricultural Land Holding Authority, the ministry will be able to look at the entire portion, any place that is being described as an industrial land, look at it in its entirety, create supporting infrastructures like road network, drain, electricity and water. You will agree with me that the kind of electricity needed for industrial production is a bit different from the epileptic supply that we have in our residential area. And we want to put in place a kind of industrial estate where all of this will be possible. We are trying to work with some private organizations such that we can give the water supply within industrial estate to a private person, private sector participation, who will in turn provide water for those people within the industry and charge them as to their usage. People will be willing to pay for their services for as long as these services are there. We also want to see a possibility of giving the security system within an industrial estate to people that are professional in providing security, so that they can do a monumental gate at the entrance of an industrial estate and then put a fence around it. In that manner, the security agent or the security organization will now be charged with the security of the estate, both the people and their wares. And if anything goes wrong, then they will talk to him and he'll be able to handle that. All of that will be looked at by the Industrial Holding Authority. Aside of this, the ministry also is looking at a lot of ways to assess the organs of government that have relationship with us. Some of those organs are Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the SMIDA, which is the Small and Medium Scale Development of Nigeria, Agency of Nigeria. We also have the NIPC, Nigerian Investment Promotion Council. All of these institutions, we talk to them on one-on-one basis via our official website, and sometimes through email addresses, and they inform us of ongoings within their agencies to the benefit of the citizenry of Lagos State. For instance, we are working in close collaboration with Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, because this is the first stop for any foreigner wanting in Nigeria, and we are working in so much consonance with the CEO of this authority that he has actually made a covenant with Lagos State, because this state is the only state that has the pull factor for most of the foreign direct investment, so that they can come in here. We are also looking at a possibility of reducing the charges on our industrial allocations, and the effect of this is the externalities that is derivable from attracting investors and industrialists into the state. Because if you cite an industry in Lagos State, automatically we will take from our pool of unemployed graduates, and as such, once those people are employed, they will also pay taxes to the state. That's an externality. Those people that are fully employed will get their salary, and they can rub into the market, and their purchasing power will also rub into the incomes of those people that are trading within our market. Apart from that, those companies will also pay sales tax, and they can't move their company. Once they are settled there, we are going to derive a lot of benefits from their being there. And that is why we are looking at the possibility of actually reversing the policy of industrial land holding, such that government can give land at a constitutional rate for genuine investors who are ready to industrialize our state. Also, we are looking at possibility of doing a pamphlet. This pamphlet is all-encompassing. It's supposed to advise citizenry in Lagos State as to the opportunities they can get from all other countries. It is a compendium of goods that can be exported from Nigeria, and those companies abroad that are actually interested in buying those goods from them. So it's a kind of linkage. That we have been speaking to all embassies in and around Lagos that they should give us the list of the companies within their country that are into manufacturing, and we are looking at this country by country in terms of their comparative advantage, such that if an intending importer approaches this ministry, we can give the person an advisory service as to where in the world you can get probably a pen or papers at the cheapest price possible, because we have a database that is encompassing of all of this. Aside of that, we also have a framework for microcredit participants. There's a scheme that has to do with small and medium scale enterprises. These small and medium scale enterprises that was launched some years ago by the Central Bank of Nigeria is supposed to be a participatory thing, something that the small and medium scale industries will buy into a venture via the banks, and it's a venture capital thing. But most of our small and medium scale entrepreneurs, they don't really understand this, and the thing has not really taken off as it was envisaged. So what we are trying to do now is to create a framework to make it a lot simpler for most of our industrialists. On one hand, we have gotten a pool of accountants. On the other hand, we have a pool of industrialists and small-scale entrepreneurs, including our tradesmen and artisans, who probably need about 20,000, 30,000 to 50,000 to start off their trade, like a barber and all of that. But they cannot access loan in the banks. So these entrepreneurs, the accountants, we match them together, and we also talk to some banks who are willing and ready. And they are willing, they told us that at the deposit of 30% of whatever amount you make, plus a little paperwork that the accountants will provide, they will now advance the money straight to the entrepreneur, and the accountant will manage that fund for the entrepreneur. As the full cycle, the bank will pay the accountant or the consultant whatever charges he wants to take. So we are matchmaking them, and that one is a success story. We've been talking to them, and we have been doing a lot in that regard. We are looking at the development of a micro-MEDI initiative. What we mean by MEDI is micro-entrepreneur development initiative. We have been talking to some car manufacturers who are willing to give brand new taxi cab drivers, such that we can, with time, reduce some of these second-hand vehicles on the road and replace them with the new ones along this scheme.
Before you continue,
okay.
You earlier mentioned private sector. Do you think the environment is conducive enough for this?
For the private sector?
The private sectors that intend to come into the industrial, commercial aspect of Lagos State, that intend to come into business. Do you think Lagos State environment is conducive? How are you intending to make it conducive?
Well, in the whole of this, in the whole federation, the embodiment called Nigeria today, Lagos State government and Lagos State in its entirety is the only state that has the kind of infrastructure that will enable any industrialist settled up. You don't forget that for an industrialist to set up, he has to look at the factors of production. And one of those things that is most important, that's very important, is access to market. Because if you produce and you cannot sell, it's not worth the while. If you have done all your thinking and you combine the land, labor, entrepreneur, and capital, which are the basic factors, and when you finish production, you have to start thinking of the market. This is the only place that has the market. We have 15 million population by 2005. The total population of Nigeria is 120 million, and we have about 36 states. So we are taking more than our own chunk of the distribution. If we are to take 1/36 of 120 million, you know what we are going to get in terms of population. But we have 15 million people here residents. That is a big market for any industrialist. That is the pull factor. And that is why a lot of them are still in Lagos despite all the odds. So if we now give them incentives as to a very conducive and policy-friendly initiatives in terms of our land holdings, a lot of them will come here. And foreigners too, they are not stupid. For us to attract foreign investment, we are facing the global village. We are looking at the old one. If an entrepreneur who wants to come and set up in Lagos State, we first look at Nigeria as a body. And then look Nigeria vis-a-vis Benin Republic, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Togo, America, Japan, Mexico, India, Indonesia, and all of that. Then he will now settle his mind that, well, in all of these other places, the labor is expensive. But labor in Nigeria is cheaper comparatively. So that's a pull factor. Then we now look at it again that, well, in Nigeria we have a pact with America, which is AGOA, African Growth Opportunity Act, which enables him to finish his production there, provided that his end product is listed. Then he can export this thing duty-free to America, which might not be possible in a country like Japan. And so that's another pull factor. It is when you use all these pull factors together that then you can come into Lagos and want to settle down. Because when you get into Nigeria, you now look in all of the states in Nigeria, which of them is very, very peaceful in terms of security. You probably don't want to go to Warri, you probably don't want to go to Port Harcourt for the restiveness of the youth. You probably want to come to Lagos because we have a social life. We have a nightlife in Lagos. And that might even be a pull factor for an industrialist. So all of this with a very, very good dynamic leader like the governor we have here now, and democracy at hand, is a pull factor for entrepreneurs to want to come into Lagos.
Going to the rural areas now, what plans the ministry have to take industry and commercial activities to the rural areas? You've mentioned so much in the city, the rural, the interior.
Well, in terms of the interiors, we are doing a lot there. One of the policies of the state is to develop the rural areas so that we will reduce rural urban drift. Because if you don't reduce the rural urban drift, the people in the city will also have problems. And the problem you have in the cities are problems that are evident. It's something that you can see here and there. But the rural areas, if you develop them, the local population will stay there. Once they can get employment, what they are looking for in the city is employment. And in that regard, what we have done is that the Lekki Free Trade Zone, instead of siting it in the city, we are taking it to the Lekki where there is no industry. The Shala steel crushing plant is in Ekwe and it's in a rural area. We are moving a lot of people from Okobaba to Ejirin, which is predominantly rural, and we are opening those assets up. And the motto, the vehicle assembly plant that we are trying to establish, is also going to be sited in Ekwe as the first choice in a very deep rural area. So once all these factories are there, it will open up those areas, and then the people that can be residents, they do their job there, and they have their means of livelihood.
Do you have plans to establish new industrial estates?
Yes, of course.
Where and when?
Well, we have a plan to site an industrial estate in Badagry, Bereko. We have one that is going to be located in Imota, in Nikuru Division, Imota Local Government, in Nikuru Division. We are also going to revamp that of Nikuru Industrial Estate. We are looking at the possibility of doing one at Alimosho area. Industrial estate, we have already gotten land allocated to us. What we are also doing in Badagry too is an international auto market, which is predominantly a rural area. We want to move the people in Baga to that area. And the beauty of all this dispersal of industries will be appreciated when you reduce the congestion within the city. There's also a very big plan, a major plan for having a border free trade zone. What that means is that if you have a border free trade zone, all these people, all these West Coast traders coming into Idumota and Ebutero and Okiari to go and Balogun market to disturb the city center, they won't have to go there any longer. All those from West Coast will just stay at the Badagry border and buy what they have to buy, and they go back to their country. That is why I want to cite a very good border free trade zone there, and that will assist in and improve a lot of West African trade.
Yeah, first on establishing new estates, there are existing estates. How do you maintain those? And how do you provide the necessary facilities in those estates?
Yeah, to that effect, what we've done is that we are setting up a committee of professionals to look at the present state of the estate, because presently the estate is run by the ministry. We collect the rent from the tenants there, we pay directly to the ministry, and we in turn pay to revenue. But the estate, as I'm talking to you, they still lack a lot of things in terms of security, in terms of good drains, in terms of within the estate, in terms of electricity. And I will sat down with a lot of them, because we discussed one-on-one. We've come to the conclusion that the best way to manage them is to give them to professionals who will look at everything in one ramification. The professional will pay to the ministry en bloc the amount that we normally collect and charge a service charge on the tenants and provide them with adequate security and all that is needed to make it a functional industrial estate. I want to tell you clearly that the sales tax is a state law. There's a state law backing the enhancement of the sales tax. The sales tax has been in this state before the introduction of value-added tax by the federal government of Nigeria. And when the value-added tax was introduced, there was a clear understanding that what is applying presently to oil-producing states will also apply to value-added tax, that is taxes derivable from those. And majority, about close to 70% of all taxes derivable from VAT is from Lagos State, because this is where the market is. It is tax paid by consumer, right? It is an end tax. It's just like every tax in the federation is based on one principle, the principle of residency. Wherever you are resident, that is where you pay your tax. And tax is meant to use in developing and providing infrastructure like health, education, and road network, electricity, and all of that. That is what water, and that is what taxes are meant to be. Those things that individual is too big for an individual to provide. That is why the tax is even created in the first place. And so, for your information, the companies in and around Lagos now, they've started complying, because they find out that they've checked all the laws. The case has been decided in favor of Lagos State. And some of them, even in the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, that are still feeling that, well, maybe they can take their case to the level of Supreme Court, so that they might have to either tell them not to pay the VAT or continue to pay the sales tax. They've now known that, well, the federal government has a right to promulgate its own laws, and the federal has a right to promulgate law for the citizens of the state.
In spite of the high expectations, dreams, hopes and aspirations for a better world, it will be an understatement to say that by the end of the second millennium, the third world nations were still struggling to meet up to these hopes and aspirations. In view of the well-scripted policies and programs, the popular belief was that by the year 2000, Nigeria and Lagos State inclusive will have been able to stand shoulder to shoulder with its counterparts in the developed nations. The hope was so high that it was believed that things will have changed for the better. Little wonder the popular saying in those days, house for all by the year 2000, health for all by the year 2000. And so by the year 1999, when the new democratic dispensation came into existence to steer the ship of governance, it won't be an exaggeration to say that almost all hopes have been dashed. And in Lagos State, the present administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a lot to do in order to restore the lost glory and revive all hopes. Knowing full well that a nation will not be judged based on her military or economic strength, but by the well-being of its people, the level of health, education, high level of security accorded to the people, and also being able to participate in the decisions that affect their lives. The present administration, therefore, decided to embark on people-oriented programs as a means to deliver dividends of democracy to the people. Considering the fact that Lagos City is rated as the 6th mega city in the world by the year 2002. Research showed that the state population was over 15 million, and based on a United Nations report, the population growth rate has been put between 6 to 8% per annum. This translates that by the year 2015, the state population will be around 25 million.
Look, it's what's been saying. The health of our people must not be based, the life of the people must not be based upon the amount of naira they have in their pocket or in their saving books. Their lives deserve attention, and that is what Nigeria as a nation must pay attention to. Healthcare facilities for the poor, and not a separate life for the rich and the well-to-do. Mr. and Mrs. Nobody, their children deserve attention, and it is only from this that we can really appreciate what these volunteer doctors who came as our friends are doing to the state and to the country. I really appreciate it.
Tonight, State on Focus beams a searchlight on one major aspect that affects the population of any state, and that is the health sector. And this is one sensitive and major sector that the present administration keeps putting relentless efforts to improve upon. Health, they say, is wealth. And of course, the economic growth of any state or nation is determined by the well-being and how healthy the people are. It is a well-known fact that if the people are not healthy, it will definitely affect the productivity of the people. The blindness prevention program, now popularly called Jigibola, is one initiative Lagosians will forever remain grateful to the present administration. This is one program that will be extended to different locations and levels in the metropolis, as it has been discovered that about 20% of the population have some form of eye problems or the other. This program was also backed with the opening of a new eye care complex at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, Ikeja. In order to boost the effectiveness of the primary health care, the present administration has so far 200 million naira worth of medical equipment to the health institutions in the state, some of which are state-of-the-art equipment which have facilitated better medical services. Also, free treatment are now being given to children below 12 years and adults above 60 years, while free malaria treatment is given to every pregnant woman who walks into any of the government hospitals. Lagos State, being the commercial and industrial nerve center of the nation, will always have high vehicular movement. With this, road accidents cannot be ruled out, demonstrating this kind of sensitive nature. Lives are not lost due to victims not having quick medical attention after any accident, which was a common and disturbing phenomenon in those days. The present administration, a few years back, launched the Lagos State Ambulance Services Bus. It was initially launched with 20 ambulances points in strategically located accident-prone areas within the metropolis. The essence is to make sure victims have access to urgent medical treatment before being taken to the hospitals. They are equipped with useful communication equipment. Recently, more ambulances were added to the already existing fleet. Private sector participation. There is one the government of the day has been clamoring for. The state government has made it obvious private sector participation is not needed in only the economic growth of the state or nation in the health sector. This clamor has led to the involvement of the Association of Nigeria Practitioners Americas, AMPA, in the sector. A 40-man medical team arrived Lagos in August to provide free medical treatment of Lagos State. This United States opinion that it is expected of them to their own quota to the of the state by village who cannot afford the expensive medical surgery have needed for a long time. These doctors with various equipment and drugs make their mission a successful one.
Well, that's what we've been doing.
Looks so good.
humanity gesture. That is desire to help the common man by first calling on the royal family of Lagos or first Manitoyi the first. The royal family at the grassroots, and so they were in a good position to appeal to the people and support these people in order to make successful one.
Honestly, appreciate what you are doing to us. Program in this country, everybody. That at no cost. But simply and meet. I don't say much. What we want to do. Maybe one more so that you go around the whole place and say once more I say thank you.
Pioneer operations, fibroid, thyroid is what the children as well as even parents out mothers.
And even they are medically fibroids, some lumps, some who have so on and so forth. All the last in Lagos, Lagos and there are about 300 operations.
Remark the road he
volunteer the holidays who died and continue. We did nothing until we get over.
In a free in manner, the governor in their various words encourage U.S. gave them a reason was people of Lagos State.
Chronic appendicitis.
Several years. You know, my education in the United States and my own country and give some back. And after when I met and realized the need of care, and I'll continue to do this. Just hope stand, and I do know that this country, not everybody can afford. The general hospitals are crowded. Coming out and might not do a lot. The little we're doing, the little contribution giving.
Everybody and the so well, actually, he's an and he told us about your missions that doing helping.
No. Were operated on.
This thing was not. We went to a junior where we like for really said this is very very I don't know.
Undoubtedly, it's an issue most administration social aspects pursue these programs. These are doctors, state government,
virtually all who are Nigerians abroad. We have African organizations in they too are liaising. How indicating for equipment, very high volume to come in for Lagos State from United States. Although make the services are there.
In Lagos State today, and in spite of the enormous effort channeled into making the state conform with its status as the center of, there are still challenges to be met in some critical areas. In fact, as human beings are dynamic in nature, so also are these challenges, a reason which accounts for this persistence. As a result, challenges such as traffic congestion, to lives and properties, population explosion and enough accommodation, poverty alleviation are among those challenges that have taxed the efforts and commitment of the present administration. Often, actions are described, so do they take another dimension. The management of the state environment also falls within this category. Over time, the problems of incessant flooding, waste management, and general enforcement of sanitation laws have become extremely dynamic, such that it takes dynamic policies to effectively manage. Okay. Even with the existence of such organizations as the Drain Docs, Highway Managers, Lagos State Waste Management Authority, the Kai Brigade, the general environment in the state, even though has already recorded success, still need a lot of efforts to achieve the desired results. Tonight, State and Focus takes on the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Tunji Bello, who speaks on the numerous efforts being channeled by the state government into making the state's general environment reflect what it should be, decent and homely. Goodbye.
Well, the state of environment June 2003, like every negotiator knows, it was very bad. We had illegal refuse dump all over the place. Our dump site was nothing to behold, because it became an eyesore. Passing through Ojota, there you see smoke everywhere and so on. Then all our drainage channels were silted up, and then beyond that, we had a lot of refuse collectors who are not doing their job properly. And similarly, there were a lot of weeds everywhere, street trading, also forms of illegal structures on all our drainage channels, also on the roadside. Became a no-go area because of the people have taken them over, turning them to market and so on. So I would say, as of June, the state of environment, as of June last year, the state of environment was not something to write home about. So we needed to do something urgent about it. I'm set about it by launching what we call Project Clean Up Lagos, which is what we have been implementing so far.
Yeah, we found out despite this rigorous campaign, on this Clean Up Lagos, we found out that there are still refuse, or that the environment is not as what we say when the program was launched. So could this be as a result of the ineffectiveness of the campaign?
Well, it depends on where you are coming from, or where you are viewing the environment from. I'm not saying that we have performed 100%, but compared with what we had last year till today, nobody can deny the fact that there has been an improvement on the environment. Rome was not built in a day. It is very easy to destroy, but to build takes a long time. So for us to solve the problem of environment in Lagos, don't forget that we gave ourselves a 3-year plan. We had a short-term plan, we had a medium-term plan, we had a long-term plan. Our short-term plan was, first of all, clear all the backlogs of refuse, adopt the emergency method, which we have been doing the last 1 year to clear all the backlogs and as well as try and get people to toe the line. We are moving to our medium-term strategy now. We used to properly have a refuse collection system, an efficient refuse collection system, which is what we are about to do from October 1 now. Now we have taken the last 1 year to review our operation. Look at study the present PSP system. Why was it not working? What do we need to do? We have studied what is happening in other areas. In other parts of the world, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Why are we not doing it that way? And then how can we adapt it to our own local conditions? And we came away with the fact that, look, the present PSP system failed because the residents are not willing to pay. Many of the people are appointed to collect refuse from tenements. The tenements refuse to pay them. They will collect the refuse, and since they were in need for business, many of them stopped collecting the refuse. And because people had nowhere to dump the refuse, they took them to the road. So we now say, okay, fine. What we now need to do is, let us appoint new refuse collectors. Government pays them at the end of the month. Then we go back to collect our money from tenement. Because it's easier for government to collect his money than for an individual who does not have an enforcement machinery to back it up to collect his own money. And don't also forget that Lagos, we are the most populous state in Nigeria is Lagos. We are dealing with 15 million people. You cannot compare Lagos with Osun State, or compare Lagos with Katsina State, or compare Lagos with Ogun State. How many refugees did they generate in Ogun State? 15 million. We are dealing with the refuse. Generate every second, every minute. By 15 million people in this state. And then you have a state that has limited resources to deal with this issue. And I think we deserve a kudos for even what we have been able to do so far. We have set up a Kai Brigade as an enforcement gang to be able to deal with some of this issue. And you yourself will have been able to notice that we have been able to reduce significantly in several areas. And I can give you examples. If you go to Ikorodu Road now, we have put dino bin on Ikorodu Road. Rarely will you see refuse dump on the street of Ikorodu Road. You will go to Terminal Bridge now. If you go from Marina, we have been able to stop dumping on the lagoon from Marina end, go towards VI, Ozumbamba, you see a lot of neatness around Unikon side, as well as several other places. We need to move to the area. I recognize the fact that some areas have not improved. Mushin is number one. We know to the Upper Expressway, things have not improved there. We know from part of Lagos Island, particularly Ibutiru side, things have not improved in those areas. And these are special areas that require special attention, special solution, which we are already addressing. Now, I will tell you the problem of Lagos Island. There are a lot of markets in Lagos Island. They are dealing with both the commercial and the residents, merging together to constitute. First of all, you have a lot of waste coming from Broad Street. You have a lot of waste coming from several markets around the Ibutiru side, which you have to deal with on a daily basis. Similarly, Mushi, take again to Road alone. You have no less than 5 markets on that road. Take go to the Upper Expressway. You have several streets coming. I mean, a lot of markets springing up all over the place. You need to deal with all these records. So these are the problem areas. But in several local governments, we are able to deal effectively with the refuse collection system in those places. We are able to clean up those areas. So, like I said, Rome was not built in a day. We are up to the task, and I will believe that the new system we want to introduce will formally eliminate most of the problems.
I want to share about it. What steps are put in place to make sure that the new system is justified?
Now, one thing about the new system is that, first of all, we want to start with our 24 local governments. We are starting a pilot scheme because one of the things, one of the problems we always have with new policy is that the government takes everything as a whole and then starts, with all the fanfare and everything and so on, we start on. So we want to use 24 local government as a pilot scheme. We don't want to just rush into the program like that, because let us see how it's going to work in 24 local government first. If it works very well, then we'll move to other local government and introduce it there. So what I'm saying is that the new arrangement is such that we have appointed a refuse collector for each of the local governments. Even Loma is one of them. And each of these refuse collectors has a minimum of 10 trucks to be able to deal with the minimum of 10 trucks and what is required. And then we have prepared our dump site. If you go to Ojota now, you'll have seen a lot of improvement in Ojota. There's no longer smoke in that place. You don't see refuse on the surface again. So because we are rehabilitating it. Because one of the problems of refuse collection is at the end, that is the disposal point. Where do you dispose the refuse? We take it away from the streets. Previously, most of our dump sites were, many of the trucks could not access them. We needed to repair them. We have repaired them. So which will make the refuse disposal easy. And then the new refuse collectors, they are going to be paid by government. They are not going to start collecting their money from tenements, start pursuing every resident. They are not going to start pursuing them. Once you do your job, you get your money at the end of the month. But if people report that you have not done your job, you are not going to pay you. So, and then, if you know that you are not paying anybody, you just put your refuse in front of your house or at a designated point, and somebody comes to pick it. There is no need for you to now go and dump the refuse on the road. So that will eliminate illegal dumping on the road, because you know whether you like it or not, somebody is coming to pick your refuse. You don't need to pay anybody. Government will come, will send you a bill at the end of the month to pay, just like you are paying your NEPA bill or water bill.
You go to the bank and pay it, whether it's 500 naira, 1,000 naira, depending on the nature of the house. So these are the systems we have put in place. And if you don't pay your refuse, you know there's a penalty for it. Sanitation law is there that you must pay for your refuse. So these are the things we pay. By the time we now have people who are sure of their money at the end of the month, that if they collect the refuse, you will discover that people who have no need to, in fact, it becomes a business. And also, it's also going to generate a lot of employment. What we are putting in place is going to generate not less than 6,000 jobs for people, for many people to be employed as refuse men to pick refuse and dump it to the trucks and so on. So what you just need to do is just to put your garbage can or bin, bag your refuse, put it in front of your house. The man will tell you the day he's going to come. Whether twice a week, you will announce that I'm coming to your street twice a week. Whether you are at home or not, just put it in front of your house, we will pick it. But there are some several areas, like Mushi, Lagos Island, where the trucks cannot even access. There are some streets that are so narrow. In such cases, the refuse collector will design a collection point. You can put a big bin somewhere where you can easily dump the refuse on a daily basis, and it will cut away this thing. So we believe by the time we introduce this system, it will eliminate all some of the illegal dumping you have all around.
So in this scheme of things, in what position does the car pushers come?
Well, I want to assure you that the car pushers are going to be eliminated. Yeah, they have become part of the problem. Let me tell you why. Some of the car pushers, you know, last year they wanted to help the car pushers. We asked them to go and register, have their cars printed in each local government, and local governments are now. I addressed them severally. Many of them refused to do so. Instead, they were busy collecting money from people, and then the cover of the night, they go and dump the refuse, either in the median or under the bridge, and everywhere. They are part of the problems that we have now. They collect money from people and then dump the refuse on the media, because they can't push the cars up to the point where they're supposed to dump it. They just do wait when everybody has gone to sleep, around 11 p.m. in the night, and dump the refuse. Before you wake up in the night, you find refuse in the media along the way. There is need to stop such people. Such people are no friends of the environment. In fact, they are destroyers of our environment. And many of them, and it's high time we send many of them packing. Now, some of the refuse collection